So, who we are? I'm the founder and the CTO of NOLEJ. And NOLEJ is a startup, edtech startup that has been created 5 years ago. So we are on the subject of generative AI and education since 5 years. And we launched our product in beta in 2023. And we won some distinction, like the GESA Award, which is a global edtech startup award in beta in London. And we have been two years in a row listed in the Time magazine of the best edtech startup. And we just learned on Monday, so 3 days ago, that we have a seal of excellence from the European Commission, and we get a grant of 500K to continue our research and development. Thank you. So I will try to follow. Actually, it's better here. I will try to follow my slide, but I will also explain the startup journey. So 5 years ago, before ChatGPT hype and all that things, we have the idea to combine and to rely on cognitive science and help use it was called Transformer at that time, not yet LLM, generative AI, to help teachers to create learning material, interactive content, and so on. And why we rely on cognitive science is to be sure that we are bringing value to the solution. So it's difficult to summarize cognitive science in one slide, but I just try with 2 points. What we learned from this is interaction is helping to keep attention of the learner and also to motivate the learner. And actually, by being active in front of the learning material, not just passive, it's a mechanism, you make work your short-term memory and it's right in your long-term memory, so it helps to learn. The other thing that we can learn from cognitive science, we learn more from mistake because it's doing the reinforcement learning and we adapt. And so trial and error is very key for learning. And to do so, you need to be able to have a lot of practice exercise. So a lot of quiz, a lot of flashcard, a lot of things. And that's something that takes a lot of time for teacher to make it. So usually, when you got a quiz, it's directly the examination or the assessment quiz. You have very few practical quizzes, or you can have more if you use some tools. So that's what we learned from cognitive science. And 5 years ago, we don't want to reinvent the wheel. We want to use components that was already supported by ILIAS, supported by Moodle. So we rely on H5P components, which are this interactive activity. And if you do some search in Google Scholar-C, for example, there is plenty of study that has been made around H5P, and most of the conclusion is this interaction, so in fact to have an active involvement in front of the learning material, increase the engagement by 85% and the retention by 75% for the learner. So that's why we decide to use this H5P component as the output of our product. But for those of you who have made some H5P content, it's really time consuming. It's very long to do all this editing, question editing. And if you want to do an interactive video, you can spend hours to make the interactive video. So we say, okay, let's use generative AI, so AI at 5 years ago, to generate this automatically. So, what is a large language model? I think we have seen some of the presentation before. I'm the last one of the day, so stay awake, just another 20 minutes. But actually, that's kind of stupid. The LLM has been trained to fill the gap with a missing word. And it learns everything that is available on the internet, on the bibliothèque of Congress, Congress library, or whatever. And we remove a word, and we let the AI guess the missing word. And we are looping. So that's why it costs 100 million to train an LLM, because there is a lot of loops to make the big neural networks to converge to something that you can predict with a high level of accuracy what would be the next word. And that's why ChatGPT and other LLM write word by word, and it's now fluent in most of the language worldwide. And it's because the size of the model getting bigger and bigger every year. So it's still an old slide. I think we can now add one more digit in 2025. But generative AI, due to the fact that it has been just trained to fill the missing word and to use a lot of materials to be trained, is subject to bias and hallucination. So one of them is from DeepSeek, a Chinese model, that just restricts the corpus of training to avoid some Tiananmen explanation, or they have their own story for Tiananmen, so that's why the model is not able to answer. But there is also some hallucination, like ChatGPT at the early stage. You can cross the channel by feet if you want. Apparently there is already someone who breaks the record. Of course it's not accurate, so that's the risk of hallucination. So from years and years they try to solve that issue by letting the AI model to interrogate the internet. So you're able to do some query outside the model to get more knowledge. But there is still a risk because internet is not, is internet reliable? You can find anything you want on internet, that the earth is flat, we never walked to the moon, Elvis Presley is still alive, or you can find this information on internet. So relying on extracting information from the internet is not so accurate as well. So to avoid hallucination, the best things to do is to provide source document, the document that you trust, or the teacher trusts that document. So that's why in NOLEJ, we force the teacher to load their own material, or find a video, a PowerPoint, a web page that he trusts, he is confident, and we will make the AI to work on this document only, most of them, and at least 90%, because the LLM has his own knowledge, I would say, because it has been trained like it. But if you focus on the given document, you are sure to avoid hallucination in most of the time. So the source document is a ground truth. And when we have seen that we can avoid bias in hallucination, that we can generate interaction, we decide to... Yes, this one, yeah. C'est où la lampe? Voilà, okay. So, with NOLEJ, we decide to fix two problems. One problem for the teacher, which is very time-consuming to create content, learning material. It's more complicated and more time-consuming to make this content interactive. And we have seen that interaction is really important for the student to get motivated. And if you want to be able to generate multiple levels of difficulties, to have a progressive path to the expertise, it's also more time-consuming. But if you take the angle of the student, it's difficult to be motivated in front of a static document. And I think you remember the COVID period where we push thousands of PDF just shared to the student without any interaction. And it was quite demotivating for the student. It's difficult also to memorize if you do not practice. That's the fact that you cannot do this trial and error mechanism. So you need the exercise. But if you provide exercise and they are very complicated right at the beginning, you are demotivating the learner because you don't have a progressive path. So that's why, in NOLEJ, we combine what we learn from cognitive science and what we learn from generative AI to transform the document you provide into a set of interactive, inclusive course and learning activity. And thanks to H5P, we know that we are bringing more engagement and retention. So the tool is very simple. There is a simple workflow. First, you have to select the document you want to work on. So it could be PDF, video, PowerPoint, it could be web pages, a YouTube video, whatever. It is your knowledge corpus. That's the document you trust. Then you have just to define your learning objective, what you want to focus on, because if you put a 200 pages PDF and you want just to focus on one part of the document, you have to tell the AI that you want to focus on this chapter, for example. And at the end, you will have a course that will be generated for you with a PowerPoint and a video, which will be made interactive with H5P. You will have a lot of interactive activities, so flashcard, crosswords, quizzes, and there will be a chatbot. And the chatbot, so we have seen a lot of chatbots this afternoon, but this chatbot will only work on the document you loaded, so it's a kind of RAG, I would say. And this chatbot is so able to say, I don't know, if you ask a question, it is completely outside of the scope. So if you load document from the French Revolution and you ask a question from the Middle Age, he will say, I don't know. Just question about the French Revolution. Oops. And NOLEJ is available inside ILIAS, thanks to the one of the sponsors of the ILIAS Konferenz, OC Group, who developed the plugin for us. So you could have NOLEJ inside ILIAS with the plugin. So in that case, it's the same workflow. You first have to select the resource. So, yes. I use a web page and I say, it's in English. So NOLEJ is supporting all the European language and Arabic as well. And you can mix documents. So it was one of the questions from the previous presentation. Actually, in the AI and RAG and learning management LLM, you are able to enter a document in French, a document in English, a document in German, and ask for a course in Spanish. Actually, inside the LLM, it's known as a single document. So you can blend content, language, so which is important in university. We have a lot of university in France that are using documents from various languages because there is good study in some other language than French, and they can use it for a reference document. Once you have loaded your document, there will be an AI analysis, and here you have the time to review all the questions that has been generated with the answer and so on. Then you decide, okay, I can see it. Yes, then you decide what you want to generate, because we generate a lot of activity and maybe you don't need all of them. And as soon as they are generated, they are inside the ILIAS platform, and you just have to reference them as an H5P content in the course program. So you have, for example, here a flashcard, but there is quizzes with some feedback to explain to the learner why it's wrong or why it's a good answer. We have crossword and many more. We have made a partnership with a company also in north of France that are having a small plugin that makes the content accessible for dyslexic people. So you can change the way you display the text, or it works also for visually impaired people. So you have the reader, and also allophone public student. So you can have some translation. So this is included in the H5P, and when you install it on your LMS, you don't have to take care about this plugin. It's coming with the activity. We have this chatbot, so it could be just here as a link, learner chatbot, yeah, which open pop-up. So this chatbot will work only on the document you have loaded, and the student can ask any question, and answer will be relevant if they are part of the document that you develop. One of the presenters at the early beginning was really stressing that point, that it's important to be sure that the content is selected, there is a frame around the chatbot to be sure that you are not getting outside the scope of the learning objective or even getting hallucination from the internet. And we have also working on the integration which is not using a plugin, because plugin has some drawback, which is the fact that you have to maintain the plugin, you have to make it evolve with the various version of ILIAS. You have the installation to take care. So there is a protocol which is called Learning Tool Interoperability Advantage. So it's really a standard, and it's taking care of a connection between a tool provider like NOLEJ and an LMS platform. And there is this authentication mechanism to be sure that the student is securely authenticated. There will be the fact that the activity will be installed on the LMS, but will appear in the LMS. And if there is a grade exercise, the grade will be sent back to the LMS platform, and you will see the grade of the student in the dashboard. Everything securely with this protocol. So ILIAS is supporting LTI, and here you have an example of knowledge inside ILIAS directly as using LTI, so directly as an iframe. But you are connected with your ILIAS account, and you are connected to knowledge with your ILIAS account. So it makes the integration easier, and you benefit from our user experience. So our user interface and not relying on the plugin, which has a more strict and more click to make the activity. Here is the AI that we have developed. It is very intuitive, so it's directly that. So that's I would say the key point. We are very user-friendly. That's what every teacher which are using the product tell us. It's very easy to use, and we can do demo outside. I was not aware that I can bring everything on and do live demo, but I can do demo tomorrow. OC Group has a booth as well downstairs, so we can make demo on their booth. We are reliable because we rely only on the document you load, so we are avoiding bias in hallucination. Everything is interactive, so it's really to engage the learner. And with a chatbot, it's also a chatbot that will ask questions if needed and really engage the user. And it's compatible with ILIAS, whatever it's with the plugin for the old version, and with the new version, it's through LTI. So, yes. That's, I think we can take time for questions. But we really want to assist the teacher or the trainer to generate content, and not only static content, but really interactive content. So everything that you can benefit from these HFP activities that are easy to install on LMS, whatever is ILIAS or Moodle or others. And of course, we do not want to replace your infrastructure. We just bring content to that infrastructure. We are an authoring tool to create content, not an LMS, so just rely on other LMS. And that's all.
Thank you. Thank you, Philippe. Maybe the smart move was to use H5P for the content production, to integrate it not only in ILIAS but also in Moodle and all those other platforms. So
we choose H5P because it's widely used in other LMS as well. And if it's not supported, the H5P wrap into SCORM and SCORM 1.2 and SCORM 2004, and then we cover all the LMS platform in the world. Yeah.
And the role of OC Group was to do the plugin for the H5P contents that were then loaded by your content to put it into ILIAS, right?
Yes. When you use the plugin, the content is really installed on the content bank or content media pool. I don't remember which name is Moodle and ILIAS, sorry. But it's really in the content bank of ILIAS, so the H5P file is in the ILIAS server. When you are using LTI, it's an integration where there is the tool are two different tools, and there is this protocol that securely authenticates and brings the content into an iframe. but both can work because you can also download everything that is generated by NOLEJ and upload wherever you want. So you have content. We generate not only H5P and SCORM, but we also generate PDF, PowerPoint, MP4, so everything could be...
Thank you. Are there any questions? Everybody's tired now. But so thank you. This morning I said that is AI in ILIAS maybe just a new pig running through the village? I think it is one running through the village, but I think we saw some very interesting examples for the integration of AI in ILIAS, and it's interesting to see I mean, we will see what will be next year. I had the pleasure to work with your tool, and it was so nice and so quick to see the production of content, H5P contents, only by loading up a video from the internet. It's very interesting. So, jetzt danke ich mich erstmal für die Aufmerksamkeit. Schönen Abend, wir sehen uns sicherlich nachher. Vielen Dank.